Welcome to Kaijudo 24/7. I'm Jared Oxtader.
And I'm Steve Ferry.
And today we're bringing you our top 8 list of best cards in Kaijudo right now. We started our list at the bottom. I almost started with number 1. That would have been spoilers. We have an honorable mention first. Our honorable mention for the list is Bone Blades. Why is Bone Blades our honorable mention?
It's balanced. It's really, really good in the format now, but since Saberbolt isn't really a deck too much anymore, there are other archetypes that are kind of filling that role right now. There's just better cards right now, to be truthful.
Yep, it is very good. A very good removal spell. Perfectly balanced as far as cost. Cost to effects. It's terrible late game under a shield. It's not going to save your bacon. Sometimes it will, maybe, but overall, very good card, but not quite top 8 material. So then we start at number 8, which is another black card. If you see Bone Blades, you'll probably see this card. Purple. Sorry. Purple.
Not magic.
Mesmerize at our number 8 spot. 3-drop. It just does so much in whatever deck you're playing in, and it's really never bad based on what point of the game you're in. Early game, turn 3 through 5, I guess, 3, because I don't know how you can play it before turn 3. But turn 3 through 5, that's kind of early game. It really messes with your opponent's mana decisions. You can see that they have, they're playing 3 color and they don't have their 3rd color yet. They have 1 card of that color, sure. Pick that card out of the hand, you've pretty much ruined their day. At least for the next couple of draw phases. And that also gives you... gives your opponent more opportunity to screw up.
That's the biggest thing with it. Kaijudo is so full with major decisions, dropping mana, major decision, what you want to play, and how you want to play ahead. If you can think ahead of your opponent and take away one of their lines of play, they may screw up that could just cost them the game completely.
Yep. Mid-game, about turn 6 to 8. So if there are no birds in play, that's pre-Andromeda. Lets you pick out their bombs. Maybe they're playing semi-aggressively and they're planning on finishing you off with that Bolt Tail in their hand, or stabilizing with that Andromeda, or whatever deck you're playing the list in and you're playing against. You'll pick out their win con. And then past turn 8, so 9 / till the rest of the end of the game, when you win, since you're playing Mesmerizes, it combos with any bounce spell. Rusalka, Grasp of Grief, Grasp, Grief.
Sounds made up.
I can't think of the card right now. I'm sure I'll pop it up and float it, even though I can't think of the name right now. Any of the mount spells it combos with. At 3 mana, it's not hard to tack it onto the a Piercing Judgment or Rusalka. And it's an easy mana decision. Worst comes to worst. It's turn 10, they're handless mana.
One more thing I'd like to add on to it too is if you cast it, you know all the information in the game. You know what's in your hand, you know what's in their hand. You don't know what's in the shields, but if you take something away and you have a Bone Blades, if they're going to drop a Nyx or something, just an example, you can set that up. You know what you're going to do for your next couple turns and how to play around it. More information, great thing in Kaijudo.
Any game.
Any game, really.
Yeah. So that was number 8. Moving on to number 7, Piercing Judgment. Steve hasn't had a lot of time to play with that card yet. I've played with it a lot. I ended up picking up Aiden Thorne's Esper list and playing it in Duluth, and it was very good. That card is very fun to cast. Early game, it fixes your mana pretty efficiently. If you're running 3-ofs, you have no problem being mana, comes into play tapped, whatever. It is very good card advantage. Just bouncing something, tapping something, and most of the time you have a creature in play to counter swing and knock out the thing you tapped. Bouncing a Lira, tapping the Nyx or Lux, killing the Nyx or Lux. Pretty good in my book.
Yeah, I haven't really had too much time to play with it. I've been brewing up a couple of other lists to really attack the metagame, and I'm not going to get into too much detail on it right now, but maybe for a later day after Jerry here wins Seattle with it.
We'll see.
Piercing Judgment, just a great card. Even the math behind it's real great. being able to bounce something, tapping something down to kill, counter swing into it to kill it, time locking your opponent's really good if they want to reinvest the mana to cast it again on their next turn.
And at the end of the day, it can save your bacon under Shield Blast.
Yeah.
Pretty dang good there, too.
You gotta love bacon.
Number 6 is Gilliflame. Not seeing a lot of love right now in the meta, but it made our top 8 list because
It's just so good.
he's just so fast. He dodges anything that isn't shield blasting him. Mana-wise, he's very efficient, 4 for 5. When Steve and I first got into the game, he was probably our favorite. Like pre figuring out Andromeda was a thing. He was.
Yep. Gilliflame by itself, when I'm playing the lightweight dark decks, it's really the only card I really care about. Everything else should be pretty much unlocked with removal and stuff. But if I don't A, have a blocker, or B, have a good shield blast, if I don't get to Andromeda fast, it's just going to wreck me.
Yeah, so he made the number 6 spot. Number 5, we have Root Trap. We did have Terror Pit and Root Trap kind of in that same-ish zone, but...
and this is very debatable.
yeah. But, you know, by the time Root Trap is hitting anything...
the resource doesn't matter too much. You give them. And Lux is a card. Lux is being played a lot, and a Terror Pit might not kill a modeled-in emulator or something crazy like that. You could get lucky and just Root Trap it. It's bad scenarios, but it saves the bacon sometimes.
Yeah, and there's only 3 creatures in the game right now that dodge it. That we could think of right now, any of the untargetables.
I mean, it kills the Cybersphere Dragon, which I feel is a really underrated card. A lot of the other unbanishable creatures.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
Cyber Lords and stuff that do that.
Play space to be explored with those cards.
Yep. Kind of, we might do something special for those guys, honorable mentions and stuff later.
Yeah. I'm really bad at counting. Where are we? 4? Number 4. Number 4 is a lot of people's favorite, I would assume, and be in a lot of people's top 8s. But Squeaky.
Dark Scared Orbital.
Scarred Orbital. Gloom Hollow. We call him Squeaky a lot. So
yep.
She. I guess it's a she.
Squeaky's a she?
Squeaky's a she.
My kids watch the show. I don't pay that much attention to it.
I think I watched the season finale of season 1. And that was
all I know. It's adorable.
It's so
adorable.
So adorable. Yeah, she fits in everything. You can play her in an aggro list. You can play her in a control list. You can play her in a mid-range list. And what really pushes her over the top, in addition to her not dying to anything level 4 or less, is that she can attack
and guard.
And she plays both sides of the...
And is almost unbanishable early game. From combat, we should say.
Right.
Also blocks Gilliflames, blocks a lot of the problematic creatures in the game. 4 days.
Yeah. Which happen to be a lot of 4-drops.
Happen to be a lot of 4-drops.
Sabertooth,
Galliflame, the Start, the green-white.
Squadron Cedar. Yep. Yeah, that is neat. Number 3, Crystal Memory. We've talked about this one before.
If you've seen our winning deck tech video, we really don't want to beat a dead horse here too much. Just the information is huge in the game. Knowing what is in your shields and how aggressive you could play, how non-aggressive you could play, what your outs are when you need to draw something to maybe stabilize in a game is really huge. Information is huge, kind of like Mesmerize. If you can Mesmerize and then for some reason they break a Crystal Memory, you pretty much have full knowledge of the game except your opponent's shields, which is amazing.
Yeah, a lot to be said about the card. Kind of surprised that I think right now it's floating at 20. Price-wise, the set it's in is really huge.
Yeah, and it's a staple in a lot of the lightweight dark lists. Greed does play a 1-of. Most decks that I do see play it as a 1-of. greed, it's okay. It's the only thing you really don't want to bottle into. But I think some avenues could be explored there with crystal memory and greed that you could bump that number up. It's really, really that good. I mean,
do we get a foil copy soon?
Yeah. Which may bring the price down, which I'm very excited for Wizards to be doing something like that, to get a lot of the good cards in circulation for the players. That seems to be a problem with the game. A lot of the good cards are hard to come by.
Yeah.
And Wizards of the Coast, one of the very few things you've done right. You guys have done well with this.
Yeah, that's. I know a lot of players in our area are having troubles picking up some of the bigger hit cards.
And that's hard for a community, for a new card game to grow, because players only have so much they can budget on cards, and they don't want to spend $300 searching for buying packs to try to get a crystal memory.
Yeah. Yep. And number 2, Andromeda. There's been a lot of argument with the whole like Andromeda bottle, mesmerize, just like banning it, restricting it. But honestly,
we feel it's very healthy for the game. The most skill-intensive games we've found when we sit down and play test are the Andromeda mirrors, and not even really in Andromeda mirrors so much as Andromeda versus Rush, Andromeda versus... It does sort of suppress one archetype in the current game, but we've tested the Rush versus Rush matchups, and it's pretty... It's like Yu-Gi-Oh! You draw your 5 cards, and the best opening hand's going to win. That's bad for the game.
Yeah. Or, oops, look, my Shield Blast for betting errors, even though I was playing poorly, and now I have fast attacker.
Andromeda brings a whole level of skill to the game, which is good for the game. The way the game was prior to that, I feel, was pretty unhealthy. I mean, Rush was a deck, Blurple was really popular. We didn't play much then, but not much at all, actually.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem very, very healthy to us. Andromeda really brought us into it.
And our number 1...
And this card, I feel, is the best out there right now. Even better than Andromeda.
Lira. Oh, man, Lira, she just... she'll grind out an aggro deck. I mean, if they're curving really well and they have you dead by like before you hit Lira mana, okay. But if they haven't, and you get like when you get to that Lira and you're running a list with like Lira Andromeda or Lira anything, you're kind of like, yeah, all right, here we go, 6th mana.
She fills a lot of roles in decks. She buys time. She can be aggressive. She's a removal spell. I think she's a she. She does everything. Everything. The card does everything. It's so much utility in one card, it's absurd. No other card really is like it, to be truthful. I mean, Root Trap and stuff, and all those other removal spells, it's 1 for 1, but at the end of the day, Lira, she's still there, and she still double breaks.
Yep. I had another thing to bring up, but I totally... Alright, well, thing we're going to do with all of our top 8 lists, this is a series we're going to try and work on. If you guys like it, let us know. If you guys have any ideas for kind of top 8 lists, go ahead and leave those in the comments below, and we'll definitely add it to our to-do list of videos. And or any thoughts on any of the cards in our list and where they landed, or our thoughts on the cards, feel free to argue with us. Or, yeah, that's right, Steve and Jara, that is a good card. You know, either way.
Or we're just really wrong. We could be wrong.
We could be wrong. That's a possibility. It's a possibility. But for all of our lists, we're going to try and do our Nutter Butter picks. So, Steven's Nutter Butter pick for this list.
Crystal Memory. My favorite card in the game. I'm a big Magic player, and I play a lot of Legacy and play a lot of Grim Tutors and stuff like that. The card's insane.
And my Nutter Butter pick is Piercing Judgment. Probably the card I have the most fun playing on the list. I'd imagine it. It sucks to be on the receiving end of a piercing, but like when you're like Piercing Judgment, keep her gone, get that. It's yeah.
It's okay.
That's exactly what you have to do to your opponent every time you bounce and tap and bounce and tap and bounce and tap and bounce and tap and bounce and tap. So yeah, there's our top 8 best cards in Kaijudo right now. Like I said, leave a comment below. Give us ideas for other top 8 lists. Agree with us, disagree with us, like, subscribe, all of those things. And happy Kaijudoing.